everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I am Pari from Team TalentZ. I say I hope you guys remember me might now, but if you don't, it's okay. Now, today, let's talk about something a lot of us struggle with, which is building your brand. Now, that is a very vast concept, but if mastered, it can help you to great lengths. So, let's get some help from an expert in the field. Let me invite Ms Aashi Bhatnagar. She is a content writer, a digital marketer, and founder to the Digital Abode. Let me just get her to join us. Hello, Ms Aashi. How are you?
Hello, Pari. Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am great. It is a pleasure to have you here with us. Before we get into the interview, would you like to, just tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Okay, so I am Aashi Bhatnagar, as you've already introduced me. I am a digital marketer and writer. I did my MBA in marketing and international business. That's how I started my career. My first job and my only job was as a social media manager with Kuzia, which is a global community for women. And thereafter, I started my journey as a solopreneur, as a founder of the Digital Abode, which is a digital marketing company. So it's been 2 years now. It started in December 2019. So it's been more than 2 years, in fact, and we're scaling up each day. That's how it goes.
Wow, that sounds great. The fact that, and I guess since 2019, so like that's the, 2 years we've been in lockdown after that. So the fact that your
Right.
company's grown in that time of crisis, it's a
We were
really
surviving all through the pandemic.
that's a great thing because so many people have started and failed at things, and so many people
Exactly.
have just thought of starting and just never had the guts to do it.
Exactly.
So
Right. So one thing is because we started before the pandemic. I mean, pandemic was there by December, but in India it was not there. We didn't know there's something like Corona. So we started with the fact that okay, we will scale. But one thing that favored us was the industry we were working. So digital marketing, IT actually boomed a lot during the pandemic. So that was the major reason that we could survive and even upscale. So that was actually something plus point for us. I should not say this because that was a global pandemic, but as an industry point of view, it really favored us a lot. People knew what
yep,
is digital marketing.
yeah,
Yeah.
great. So even though you've pretty much told us about, tidbits of
Mhm.
your journey, would you like to go a little bit, deeper into your experiences? Maybe some experience that really shaped your journey, something like that.
I think okay. So my first internship was in 2019. So I think that was a turning moment for me. That was my first internship, and before that, I have no idea. I had no clue about digital marketing, but that one internship was actually a life changer for me. And after that, I found my mentor, who's a professor in my college. She was into digital marketing only, though we don't have her right now. She's no more, but she's still there, and she has actually shaped me when talking about my niche, my career, the thing that I'm working. So then after I started my job was virtual work. So I have never been to an office, frankly. I have never worked from an office because my first job was also virtual. So at that time, people didn't know what is working from home like. So at that time, people thought that I'm just doing some time pass thing and it's not even a job. So, but it was amazing. I mean, the experience was, I think, around 10 months, and there were members across the globe. So that was a really exposure for me that I could work from people across the globe. I made friends, I could network. So, we got out of our comfort zone, we got out of our shells, even while residing from our homes only. We were working from four walls, but still we could see what's going around the globe, what's happening in the international market. So that was really amazing. Then I started freelancing along with my job. So freelancing was something, maybe the only and the major thing that boosted me to start my startup. Because what I did was just convert my freelancing thing into a full-time business and build an agency around it. So if I haven't started a freelancing back then, I wouldn't have, launched a startup today. So freelancing is something that really shaped me, and I still do that. Just that I have a brand now, I have an agency now, but the work is similar, and I absolutely love what I do.
Wow. You talk about freelancing now. Freelancing is, even though a lot of people do it, I feel youngsters sometimes like they really want to get into it, and due to that, they sometimes not not really, but they kind of get exploited, like they're working more and not getting paid enough, and etc. Do you have any tips, to help avoid that for someone who is just getting into it?
Okay, so firstly, don't follow the crowd. That's what I feel, because freelancers, many freelancers are underpaid because they frankly don't deserve it, because the quality they are giving, they're getting the same thing in return. I'm not talking about everybody. There is a group of people who talk about they are not being paid where clients are bad and the industry is bad, but they're not checking themselves. What they are doing is just blindly following the trend because it's trendy, it's cool, so I have to do freelancing. It's not how it goes. You have to understand your skills, what you can do, then brush up your knowledge, your skills, keep practicing it, and then be prepared for the market. Then you can say that, okay, I am worthy of this much amount, and then you can ask the person. And for those people who are already worthy, who are already working for it, identify your niche. That's very, very important. What kind of clients you actually want to work with. Have a defined strategy. Don't just go haywire into the market that I need projects. Not like that. You have to define a strategy for yourself. If you have a particular industry, very good. If you don't have a particular industry, at least have a definite type of clients. Everybody is not your customer. That's what we say in business, but that also goes into freelancing, because freelancing is also a business in itself. So that also goes into that freelancing business also. You cannot ask anybody and everybody for a project, even if they are approaching you. So you have to understand their budget, their requirements, if you are the right person for them. They could feel that you're the right person, but you know that what are your capabilities. So don't allow them to exploit you. That's all I would say.
Okay, I am sure that will be very helpful to a lot of people. Now let's get back into the topic. So since the topic is building your brand, so one basic question that comes to my mind is, what do you think is tougher, building a brand for a product, a service, or a person? Which is the toughest?
Okay. I think it's not about which is tougher, because all the three are tough in their own things. If you talk about product and service, they usually take that as an example. Product versus service, marketing, branding. So I think one important thing when we talk about product and service is the capital investment. Like especially in my industry, it's a zero capital investment startup. I literally didn't invest any amount of money. Of course, there are some negligible payments of softwares and all that stuff, but that's really negligible. When you build a product, you need a capital investment. So capital is a very important criteria into that. One thing. Second thing, which usually people miss, maybe they don't realize this, that is brand identity. Okay. In product, you have a separate brand identity, and in service, you might have the same. For example, supposedly I am running the digital board. So your team approached me because you knew me, not the digital board. You have seen my brand, you have seen my personal branding, you know my skills, you feel that I am knowledgeable or I'm worthy enough for having a session with you. So this is I am speaking. If there's some client who want to have some writing project, they are seeing me write, they are seeing me speak, they know my content knowledge, so they will feel that okay, yeah, Ashi is the right person. So I mean, the digital board is also the right agency to work with, because Ashi is the person behind it. She is the face. Whereas supposedly if I am selling a product, for example, if I'm selling this candle, so this is something else, this is not me. If I have to market it, if I have to build the product, and you know me, you'll trust me, but you'll not say that Ashi is knowledgeable, so this candle is scented, which she's selling. Those are two different things. So then that is a strategy of how you're separating your identity from your product. The ingredients, the qualities, the X factor, the competitive edge of your product will be different from you. That's how it goes. And when it's personal branding, it's all about yourself. It's how you place yourself in the market, how you place yourself as a thought leader. If you are not working, your product is also not working. So for example, if I'm selling a product, I might be off from the backstage for a while, nobody would know it. But in personal branding and even in service, if you are providing some service, you cannot go off, you are the face. So you have to be active all the time.
But okay, aside from digital marketing, like not just that, but even otherwise, you said that a product doesn't necessarily relate to a person. But don't you think, like in India especially, we that is how we advertise things. Like Amitabh Bachchan doing an ad for I don't know, hair oil. So the reason people buy that hair oil is because they relate it with that person.
Right, but the qualities are not the same, right? They are just promoting it. I am not saying that I will nowhere be in the product. Of course, even if I sell these candles in future, I will always be the one promoting it. I'll be the face of the brand here also. But the amount of credibility that goes into personal branding, because I am the person providing the service which you want, will never be equal to the amount of credibility you hold in the product. Those are not equal. You can trust, maybe you can see that okay, Aashi is endorsing it, maybe there's something good in it, but still you'll have a cross check, you'll see, if even if it's good or not, you'll check the qualities, you'll check the ingredients or whatever it is in the product, that's based on product. So that's how it is different. Nothing is tougher or nothing is easier, it's just different to build a product and a service.
That makes sense. Like, I get what you're saying, that, with the product, it's not a very direct relationship with the person, because it's more like a suggestion instead of being
Right.
like, something you are providing yourself. That is,
Right.
that really makes sense. Now I would like to ask you, could you tell us some basics of personal branding, how to work on your personal brand, etc.?
Okay, so firstly, groom yourself. Personal brand is there only when you have something to offer the people, right? So, supposingly, if I take my example, I am a marketer and writer. So, I could be a personal brand only when I've groomed myself into that. If somebody is talking to me, I should know something about the industry. I should have built up, I should have worked with it, and then I can tell people that what it is, right? So, once you've known which industry you're working and you've actually worked towards it, identify where is your audience. That is very very important. There are many people who work on like 4 or 5 platforms, but all everyone is not your audience. So for example, if I go for a LinkedIn, I know the audience is there, my clients are there. I have added people of my industry, so they see me as a thought leader. If I add people of, if I have like 12, 13,000 connections right now in LinkedIn, and if I add people from very very different background, though I have a diverse range, but majority of it is from my own industry and my niche. So that's how people see you, as a personal brand, as a thought leader, because they are in the same industry. Maybe they are just starting it off, but they are seeing you that okay, this is the person, maybe I am this after 2 3 years. So they learn from you. You become an automatic mentor for them, even if you don't mentor them directly. So that's how it goes. And then be consistent, provide value is very very important. You cannot just be virtually present and do nothing. You have to constantly provide value to them, so that they trust you, they see you, and they feel that okay, this she is a person that I can learn a lot from them. So that's how you grow into their eyes and become a thought leader.
Okay. Okay, now my last question for you is, please can you share some, tips and tricks for startups, because like we're going into the pandemic again. So, the
Mm-hmm.
startups, small businesses, those Instagram stores and everything, they're going to struggle a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, because the cash flow is going to decrease,
Right.
everything's going to slow down again. Do you have any tips
Mm-hmm.
and tricks to, avoid them, from going into losses, so that they can, market their brand more digitally? Or what social media platforms do you think they should focus on, something like that?
Okay, so the social media platforms they should focus on is completely independent of their industry and their brand. So if you feel that your audience is on Instagram, please don't look at LinkedIn. Start with one platform first. Supposingly you are a brand whose audience is on multiple platforms. Like we are on Instagram also, we are on LinkedIn also, we're on Facebook also. But pick one at a time. The amount of consistent content that goes into LinkedIn, I'm talking about my brand, the amount of content that goes into LinkedIn is not the same amount of content that goes into Instagram. People, they don't trust the same level on Instagram because we are being focused on LinkedIn. So that's how you pick one platform at a time, build that brand on that platform, and then shift. If your audience is scattered and on different platforms, but if your audience is on one platform, please focus on that. Don't rush. That is the biggest thing that people, especially startups and those who are starting it off, do nowadays, is that they are literally rushing. They feel that they can do everything in one day, or they have to do all things together. It's not like that. One thing at a time. It's like a ladder. You have to take one step at a time to reach the terrace of your career. So that's how it goes. And then identify what you're actually doing. Don't mix 10 things together. Everybody has their own journey. Don't compare your chapter 1 with someone's chapter 10. They are having their different journey, they have their different skill set. Most important, even in digital marketing, when I see many people are just doing SEO and they have a wonderful career. Many people are generalists, they are doing everything. So we cannot compare one person to other person. Then, especially in the pandemic time, you have to understand what is going trendy. Supposingly there's a tourist sector company, so of course tourist sector goes down first. So what value you can provide for people who are at home, they are not able to travel? So you have to understand the situation and be customized about the situation. You cannot talk about things that are not going according to this situation. If there's a pandemic, you have to adjust your marketing goals, you have to adjust your content related to what people want to do. So I think that would be something which will help brands.
How important do you think it is to follow trends? Like, should a person focus on following trends or keeping their individuality?
Or keeping there, I'm sorry, coming again.
Individuality, originality.
Individuality. Okay. I think we can still keep our individuality while following the trends. Not all trends are for you. We also don't follow all the trends. But even if you want to follow a trend, you can still have your own individuality. There are many bloggers on Instagram, even if you see, they're having the same kind of music which is trendy, but they're adding their another element to it. And that's what makes them unique. So following the trend would not mean, not justifying your individuality. You can still have your uniqueness while following the trends. And especially when you talk about social media, I think trends are necessary to a certain extent, because that's all what you're doing. You have to sustain in the market, in the digital marketing. So you have to follow the trend, but you can still keep your point of view, your opinion, your taste, your flavor into it.
Okay, wow. Thank you so much, Ms. Aashi. I think I definitely learned so much from your answers. I mean, that was really insightful. Thank you so much. It was so great having you here. It was a great interview. I hope you liked it as well.
Of
Um,
course, of course. Even as I told you yesterday also, that I've always been hosting events and live sessions. This was the first time that I'm the guest, so it was something a little weird, and I was actually nervous, but it was amazing, and I'm sure we'll have more sessions together. Thank you, TalentZ, for inviting me here. It was a pleasure to connect with you and your team. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You have a great day as well. So I think that went really well, and I think I learned a lot about how to grow my personal brand. I hope you did too. If you have any questions, you can definitely comment them down below, and we will try to answer them. If you liked anything in that interview, please go and follow our social media profiles, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube, and yes, keep engaging. Thank you, and bye bye, guys. Take care.